since I've gotten pictures of him, but he was in here all through September, very regularly. And I've got a lot of pictures of him up here on this spot. We're basically at a pinch point between a little staging area between bedding and destination food. Got some switchgrass out in here. Got a water hole out in front of us, and then when I cleared this out, we left a little cedar tree in here, and they've got it all tore up with scrapes and a big rub on it. So my camera died, so I don't have any recent information for the last couple days. But he's been in here fairly consistently, so I guess we'll see what happens. We got a big cold front that moved through. It was 85 yesterday, and today was a high of 65, so almost 20-degree drop. It's probably 90 degrees in here, but outside it feels pretty good. We finally got a switch from a south to a north, so everything lines up. Should be good action tonight. I got Dad behind the crossbow this evening for Jed, and then if we get a random deer that comes through one of the other targets from around the area, if they decide to move in, I have my bow along as well, so we'll see what happens. Three. So I just shoot the doe and be done. Four.
Thought I seen some movement behind that yet.
That's a little weird that they're coming out that direction, but she's looking out in the field like there's something out there.
I wonder if there's deer down on that path.
Might be.
It's pretty cool there. It's a nice doe.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe they drink that green looking stuff.
They actually like that better than like creek water.
Serious?
Yeah, the stuff that stands there in a puddle.
Why is that?
It has like more minerals, I guess, and stuff for taste. I don't know. Man, that worked flawlessly. Almost acts like there's something down there.
Crap, did they go down in there? That's gonna suck. Oh yeah, now they're going down in. As long as they go left, that's all that matters. Looks like they're heading left. Yeah.
Just want them to work out to the field. Well, it is October 8th. First mornings of the year. I typically don't hunt mornings in October until the last week or so, but this is a client's property and was able to get permission to hunt it. Had a little bit of work yet to do get down here to wrap the project up. So, when I was walking this, I was able to kind of scout everything as I was going. And I found a pretty sweet spot here where it's 120 acres and the majority of it is big, mature oaks. So where I'm at right
transition here between bedding on the neighbors where it was cut in the past and these mature oaks over here where they're feeding on. And I found right here in this transition there's a saddle actually, as well as a pine planting that comes right down to the edge of this saddle. Right there and all that hub where everything comes together, there was one of the first scrapes I'd found this fall. So I have a camera on that scrape, but I need to pull the cart and I didn't want to walk over there this morning because I was a little bit disoriented, wasn't quite sure where the camera was at. I got in the right tree thankfully, but I wanted to check it afterwards. Looked like it's still pretty tore up. Some kind of the thought was we had a major cold front come through. Sunday was 85 degrees, hot. We had some rain roll through, and yesterday was a high of 65, I think, and this morning was 38 or 40 degrees, so dramatic temperature switch. So worked out pretty good all the way from the road. I could slip in through these pines. There's like just a four-wheeler path coming back through these pines, and with all the needles, it was real quiet getting in here. And so I was pretty stealthy getting my setup in here, and was pretty happy with that. So I'm hoping I can catch some of these bucks or deer in general working off of the oak trees over this saddle and back down into the bedding. There's kind of a ravine down in front of me. So I like the setup. It's definitely something I think I'll hunt in the future and would make a really good rut spot, I think, as well. But we had, I don't know, 15 minutes or so before daylight. Got set up and ready to rock and roll, so we'll see what we see, I guess. It was a pretty slow hunt. Those two does came through, did exactly what I figured they would do. They were a little bit out of range, so I'm not sure if most of the deer are doing that. I'm gonna need to check that out to see if there's better sign down. But there was just sort of a bench right here, and I assumed they'd be running that. And that's where the scrapes were on, so I'll check that out. But overall, it was a fun sit. I'm gonna quick pull this card and see what's on it.
Well, so far on this property, I have not had a lot of deer on camera in general, so that was at least interesting to see some deer on camera. I think, it's one of these spots that once a mature deer does move in, I'll probably get him here, so it's an easy spot to access as well to pull the card, so I think I'm gonna leave the camera here. I need to adjust it a little bit. It was angled up a little bit, but got one other camera I'm gonna pull yet on the way out. I'm gonna check that card and then back to work. Okay, so we're out here on a point with a bunch of white oaks on it. Side note, some of the nicest white oaks that I've sold in a long time. So I'm excited about this piece, but got my camera right here, got a scrape right there. See what's on it. Well, we're back in the truck. That was a chilly morning. I didn't dress warm enough for that. Got a hot cup of coffee here at the local joint. Wanted to break down a little bit this new permission farm that I picked up. So it is a client's property. We are doing a timber harvest on it. And it is somebody that doesn't have any interest in hunting. We're not doing a cut even specifically for, wildlife improvement. It's strictly, we're just looking at getting return for the timber, as well as doing a cut just to let the timber is very, very mature. Some of the nicest white oak and red oak that I've sold for sure in a year, maybe two. So I'm excited about this piece. Like I said, it's 120 acres, and it's basically, a bunch of ridge tops with deep ravines. But it, with it being all mature timber like that, kind of doesn't hold a lot of deer. There's small areas of cover, and then some of the neighbors have had some timber cut in the past where there's some cover there as well. So kind of my strategy for hunting this piece is, one, finding terrain features that are going to pinch deer down, more so for rut hunts, and then trying to find those terrain features that adjoin or get as close to bedding as possible. And so that was the spot that I was set up in this morning, and the deer did what I thought they would do. I hadn't scouted that area very closely, and there ended up being a four-wheeler trail that those does were on further down. So I'm going to adjust my setup a little bit based off of that movement, but I do think it's a spot that end of October here, it could be pretty decent. And then I pulled another camera kind of back in the center of the property up on just a big point, and got a picture of a nice 4-year-old, really pretty deer. Not a deer I'll target, but he came up out of a bottom, which is, there's a big hub down there where a bunch of fingers come down together. And I do have a mock scrape down there with a camera. So I need to check that card and see if he's been on there. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool property. It's going to be a little bit tough to hunt. After we do the timber harvest, it's got probably 20 acres of pines, which is something I don't run into a whole lot here in Ohio. And so we're actually going to be clear cutting the pines, is what the landowner wants to do. But as of now, as it sets up now, it kind of makes it pretty nice because they're kind of up on the ridge tops where I can kind of sneak around pretty quietly, just walking on the, the pine needles and stuff. And it's a lot quieter rather than walking through the crunchy leaves. So for this year, it'll make getting in and out fairly easy. In the future, we're going to have either, complete regeneration coming up in those areas, or if I can convince the landowner to let me, I might, turn a couple of them into food plots or something. But I wanted to see, and it may only be that I get to hunt it this year, and that's fine. But I am excited about the potential of this piece, and we're going to be bringing it to market real soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm going to be I've got a playlist where I've got my weekly breakdowns for this season. You can check that out and follow along for more hunting content, as well as timber management content. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.